And eXp Realty, and so excited to be here this morning because look at these two famous people that I get to be in one photo with, right? I want to introduce to you two heavy hitters. Jay Kinder, welcome.
What's up? How y'all doing today?
And my friend Gusty. Good morning.
I just snapped that picture, by the way. Yeah, good morning. Thank you.
Well, okay, first of all, I get to be here with two awesome guys that sell a crap of real estate through their career. And some of you may know Gusty already, but I want to introduce you to Jay. And Jay, you've got an awesome background story. Tell us a little bit about it. I know that you started out early in the business, and I love that about you. I was 25, so you had me way beat.
Yeah, I had a wonderful career of mowing yards prior to getting into real estate, which prepared me it actually prepared me a little bit for at least knowing where to find houses, because I at least had to, know the directions to houses. That might have helped a little bit, but, flunked out of a couple of semesters of college, decided, better get into real estate. That might be the only chance I have for survival. And, struggled like most people do the first few years trying to figure it out. Didn't have really that big of goals, to be honest with you. I remember my dad was, I had bought a Coldwell Banker in 1997, and that was the year after I graduated high school. So I joined the end of 97 and got into real estate, and he gave me this goal setting plan. I think my big ambitious goals at the time for that year was $35,000. So I didn't really know what I was getting into, but I was fortunate over, not too long after that of spending a ton of time trying to learn the business from paying just about everybody you could pay. Pretty much everybody you could give money, I gave money. Tried a lot of stuff that didn't work, tried a few things that did work, and ultimately kind of climbed the ranks and became number 2 in the world for Coldwell Banker for several years, and built a pretty good sized business there in a little town of Lawton, Oklahoma. So been a fun career for sure.
Well,
number 2? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You know what? I was in the nation? Number 2 in the nation. I was also, this is funny, I'm still pissed off about it. I was number 2. I was never number 1 in my own market. I sold 531 homes my best year. My competitor was selling 700 homes a year. So I was never even number 1 in my own market. It was just very frustrating. You got to be careful who you follow. Being number 2 is actually a benefit, I think. It's like Avis. You have to try harder.
Oh yeah.
Always chase
Sure.
it. But yeah, I'm still pissed off about that.
Well,
Wow.
Oklahoma must be some type of market if an agent can do 700 deals and over 500.
Right. In this little small town too. I mean, we were probably together almost, 35% market share. I mean, just between the two of us. So it was good though. I learned a lot of lessons. I learned how to compete. I learned how to learn what your competitors are doing and saying, so that you can, maneuver around those things. And because I can never say, hey, I sell more houses than them. I can never say I'm spending more money in marketing. I can never say all those things that that it's probably easy when you're number 1 to say, and get the business. So that was I think that was really a credit to building what I built.
Yeah. Well, hey, I got, based on that, I've got a question. So, a lot of people that are going to be watching this, especially in Birmingham and our market, they may not have heard of Jay Kinder. We don't have a large Coldwell Banker presence in our market. So, the history books of Coldwell Banker and Birmingham and here in Jay Kinder are not prevalent in Birmingham, Alabama. So
Right.
I know we just got cell coverage here recently in Alabama. So,
I'm from Mississippi. I moved up.
Right.
Just kidding. But, we talk about, big teams, growing teams and doing big numbers, and you just shared some huge numbers, but a lot of the people that we help are people that are just trying to get to 12 homes a year, that are trying to get to just like 24 homes a year. So kind of tell us, like, if you don't mind, like, how did you get to 12 houses? How did you get to 24 houses? And how did you build that?
Yeah, man, that was just right here, the grind. There's no substitute for that. I can tell you, nothing is easy about real estate. And, like I said, I spent a lot of money paying a lot of people trying to learn the business. And, for some people, I think, you spend that money and maybe you don't get something and you kind of stop kind of investing in yourself a little bit, or you get a little gun shy, because there is a lot of stuff out there that's crap, and, isn't that valuable. But for me, it was always when I get out of the business, when I would leave the business and go to an event. And this is my my wall of fame over here, so I'll show y'all this. So this is my wall of lanyards. Okay,
good
so,
night.
yeah, so that's my.
You need to stop traveling, man.
Yeah, so this is a career of investing in yourself. Those are my room keys that my stacks of room keys from traveling, the world. Not traveling like vacationing. Of course, I always make it a vacation wherever I go. But that was investing in myself was the key to my success. If you were to break down everything, that's really what it boiled down to, was investing in myself, going to be around people like, that were selling more than me. I wanted to get next. I always tell people I wasn't the smartest kid in class. I just always sat next to them. And on top of that, I also tell them I was in the top 25 of my class when I graduated high school, but there was only 36 of us. So, I'm not I wasn't the guy that had it all figured out. And I certainly would have probably not been voted most likely to succeed in real estate. But I think that the effort that goes into, learning and trying things and failing forward really is the secret, right? Like, you got to be willing to get on the phones and get hung up on, and you got to be willing to make those calls and do that work. And, you learn as you go. And, I think you can't just, the pendulum swings first to failure and then to success. It doesn't swing to success first. So the more you swing it to failure, the more success you have. And I failed a lot. So, I mean, that was really, the secret for me. I know that's kind of surface level, but that's been the secret for me.
Well, no, I think there's a lot of validity to that. And being number two not only keeps you humble, but keeps you trying to work that puzzle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how am I going to crack this? And,
right.
What's going to be that one thing that's going to put me over the edge and get from that, 530 to 700.
Right.
And I think that's what makes you better. And it also makes sure you have a heart for other people, because you're constantly trying to work that.
Right.
So, my dad was a real estate broker too. And I got in at 25, of course I said I would never do that. He would leave, New Year's Day or Thanksgiving table. I got to go get a contract signed.
Right.
He wouldn't come back for hours. And I'm like, there is no way I'm doing that crap. And at 25, I jumped in and love it, right? It gets in your blood and you don't do anything else. But there was such a lack of, I guess maybe leadership, training opportunities, because he was my broker, and he is such a salesperson and is so good at what he does. He couldn't teach me how to do it. He just go, I don't know, baby, you just got to get out there.
Right.
And so luckily I had the grind to make that happen, like you were saying, but just figuring it out all the years. And I feel like it's a duty for us to be able to share that with other people once you kind of figure it out. And where Gusty is a little bit different is, and Gusty and we go way back to where before he even discovered what kind of talent he had in himself. And now he is the number one team. So he's at a different spot because he worked himself up to the number one team in his market. Right, Gusty?
Yep, sure did. And, it's definitely not easy. It's, you just start. And actually my start, I'll just kind of give you a little idea of my story is I was actually in the mortgage business. I worked for a national company. And what we had to do was we had to either call 150 people a day or get 5 applications a day. So, I was typically the first person in the office every morning. So I usually had 1 or 2 applications before anybody ever just, got out of bed and got to the office. And, I didn't want to call 150 people a day. So I really focused on excellent conversations and really tried to listen and learn of what people wanted and put them in the right position and situation. And so, but you're right. When you talk about grind, I mean, calling 150 people a day, that's a grind.
Right.
And so, quite frankly, the experience I had in that mortgage business really prepped me to, work leads when I got into the real estate business. And so I was just like relentless. And I know, I don't know how many years ago, Genny and I did an interview about me doing working Zillow leads and our process for working Zillow leads. And I think that video's already had, 10,000 views. I don't know.
No, it was like way over 70,000.
Okay. I mean, and, I get calls all the time saying like, how are you doing this? What is your follow-up plan? What is your follow-up process? And you just kind of create it, but you got to be relentless. But so in 06, We kind of heard the night before that the company I worked with nationwide was going to be shutting down. And so we were like, all right, is this for real? Is this going to be what's going to happen? And 10 security guards walked in at 9:30 the next morning, and they said, you got 10 minutes to get your personal belongings, and you got to go. And so,
Surprise!
Wow.
surprise, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with my life? And luckily, my mother-in-law was a realtor. She wasn't my mother-in-law then, but my mother-in-law now. She was a realtor in a neighboring city in Alabama. I reached out to Nell and I said, Nell, what do I do? And she was like, you know what? You're good with people. Why don't you just go get your real estate license? And I was like, well, hell, I ain't got anything better to do.
Right.
So that was really my journey on how I even got into real estate. But how I guess became successful was the experience I had in the mortgage business, just dialing for dollars.
Right.
So, and then, I feel like I've always just been one step ahead. So, I was, in 09, I was, right in the middle of the recession, just doing everything I can to survive. I remember the conversations with my wife, and my wife was like, hey, why don't you go be a banker? And I'm like, no. That does not sound like fun at all, but we needed money. So there was actually a time that I got on a turnip truck in 2009, and I was getting up at 3 a.m. and getting on. Well, it was about 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m. I'd get on the turnip truck, and we were doing deliveries to all the grocery stores because the recession kicked everybody's butt.
Yeah.
And I did it for a week. I did not tell my wife. I was super embarrassed. And so after 3 days, my wife was like, "Why the heck are you getting up so early?" I was like, "We need to pay the bills." And you showed your shirt earlier, grind. You just got to do whatever you can to make it happen. Yep. And she was like, "No, you're not going to do that." She's probably going to be embarrassed that I say this or tell that story. But so I quit. I was like, I've got to be focused on real estate. So what did I start doing? I started networking. I started reaching out. I actually interviewed a couple of real estate companies to find out what was the best company for me. I made that decision. Then I started networking, and I had some friends that were in the business doing different things like mortgage and inspections and all that kind of stuff. And I said, hey, we got to create a bond, and we got to really take care of each other. And so doors started opening. And one of the doors that opened for me was I got connected with the Neighborhood Stabilization Project grant back in 2009. We were right in the middle of foreclosures in 2009 in Birmingham. It was literally a 45% market.
Hey, Gusty, can you speak up just a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You're saying that.
Yeah, thank you. So 45% market share. It was crazy. So luckily there was that neighborhood stabilization project. And so, somebody opened the door. There's a local nonprofit called Glenwood that takes care of autism and behavioral disorder services. And my wife was on the junior board there. And they knew I had real estate experience. They knew I had foreclosure experience. And they got granted 6 houses to purchase. And so they put me in touch with the buyer for for Birmingham, and really opened the door for me. And so what ended up happening is I created a great relationship, and we ended up getting Glenwood 16 houses, and just from that one door, one relationship, and that was in 2009, right in the middle of the recession. And then we were able, in that one project, able to do more houses. But that created 2010. I was able to sell, just in that one project, 21 houses. In that year, I sold 52 homes, and I was at the number one brokerage in our market. And I was, for the most part of that year, I was the number one agent in homes sold, and I finished the year number 2. Like you, and I literally lost by one deal, and I lost to a foreclosure listing agent.
Oh.
And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. This is just crazy. So I did that. I know this is a long story, but people need to hear it.
Right.
So I did that, and then so my business started growing, and then I got my first, probably the most difficult decision I made in real estate was I hired a part-time assistant. That was probably the most difficult. I mean, like starting a brokerage, whatever, easy. Starting a team, sure. Spending, thousands of dollars on all different advertising, no problem. Hiring a part-time assistant, that was the hardest decision I've ever made. And And so I
did through that now.
What's that?
I said you've broken through that now.
And then for some reason people were not doing professional photography in our market. People were just not doing staging consultations in our market. So that became part of our plan. I created a rental company that we were doing rental placements for management companies. So I was able to bring on people that were like future real estate rock stars that helped them in rentals. And then I created a team. And then, so we were I've just always been kind of one step ahead. And then I got this wild hair and started a real estate brokerage about 4.5 years ago. And I guess my latest wild hair is partnering with eXp.
So. Well, but you just came off your best month ever with the team for closings.
We were close. We closed 47 for 12.6 million last month. And so we were close to our best month. Hopefully we'll hit it soon.
Yeah, you will. You had over 60 on.
Yeah, we had at one point we had 63 under contract for the month, and because of like lender delays and different stuff, it got pushed back. Right. So it's August is going to be good. I'm happy about that.
Right.
So what's your goal for this year as far as the team is concerned?
We want to hit 500 homes. So we're just shy of 300 right now. So we're on pace. So we're going to be adding some agents. So we'll be putting out some ads to add some agents so that we can hit that 500 mark. And then next year we want to hit 750. And then in 2 years, we want to hit 1,000 homes for the Gusty Group team.
Okay, so you can see that two heavy hitters that have closed a lot of real estate, and both over the top spirits, and the creativity that Jay Kinder has always amazed me throughout the years. If you have a chance, Google him and check out some of his awesome content and some of the things that he has done throughout the years. All fun stuff. And I love too how you said, Jay, like some of it works, some of it doesn't, and you test all of it and you just figure out what does, and that's what you keep moving forward with.
Right.
So it was you were independent. Yep. And then all of a sudden you decided to join a new real estate company.
Right.
So I get the question asked all the time of me of you weren't paying anybody anything. And I just recently went back in sales in January myself. And why did you decide to join a company where you actually have to pay in a cap? So what is your answer to that?
Yeah. So I think a lot of people do what Gusty and I did, which is you get to a certain point and it just doesn't make sense. My trophies, my top 10 in the world trophies from Coldwell Banker, I call them $100,000 trophies because that's what I basically paid for them. And it just doesn't make sense financially for you to continue to pay into to a brand, because you become the brand. And so we had, since, started a coaching company since 2006, been coaching and training agents, and we helped them all go independent. I mean, ultimately get to a point, hey, you're paying, more than $50,000 here. You need to just go independent. And we would help them with the transition. And that was what we did. And so we started partnering with agents in 2016. Started from scratch and me and Mike got a wild hair. There was probably some drinking involved. We decided we were going to start a brokerage in Dallas, and we started from scratch, and we built it with 10 agents to 272 transactions in 12 months. Wow. And we did it by implementing, instead of just coaching you on what to do, we just did it. We hired the ISAs, we ran all the ads, we did everything, and it exploded. And so we actually started doing that in Atlanta, and that's when we realized, oh man, this is hard to scale into another. Once you move over the state line, everything becomes infinitely more difficult. And so as we were, kind of determining how we wanted to move forward with this business model, one of our top agents that was going to be one of our area partners for that model was looking at eXp, and he basically, Al Stasic, he brought it to me and said, man, poke holes in this thing, man, because I think this solves all the problems that we've been having in our businesses. And we were always trying to, solve the problem of agent recruiting, agent retention. How do you attract talent? How do you keep talent? And, it's got to be, we knew there had to be an opportunity for, somewhere in this business model, there had to be opportunity, and we knew there needed to be ownership in the model, but we'd never seen it all put together like eXp had done it. And so when we saw the model, we're like, this is 100% what's best for the agent, which if it's not best for the agent, then it's not best for us. And once we understood that, it was definitely what's best for the agent. Publicly traded company, you can earn stock along the way. The more you produce, the more stock awards you can accumulate. You can purchase stocks along the way at a 20% discount. You can literally build up an exit strategy at eXp. If you're going to be doing this for the next 10 years, there's no better place to be than eXp. And so that was that element of it was important because we felt like that got buy-in. And then, their platform, there's no walls, there's no brick and mortar, there's no limitations to territories. I can recruit anybody in the country, anywhere, and all have one system for everything. So we just saw it as the best place to be to scale and grow what we were already doing. And we were, if you'd asked me, hey, are you open to looking at, joining another company? I would have been like, nah, no thanks. Not happening. I'm not paying anybody. So I always use the analogy. It's like, we're like fish. Fish understand everything below the surface of under the water. They don't understand anything above the water. And if you've never seen anything above the water, you don't really know what to expect. And that was kind of me at that moment before I really understood the business model. Was I had no clue what eXp was because I had never seen an animal like that before. It was just something completely different than anything I'd ever seen or even dreamed or imagined. So the business model was the secret to that. And, we just realized that, hey, this thing is, once I met the executive team, I met people in the company. A lot of our past clients that we had helped over the years, had already joined, and they were only at 5, but I could feel it in the room at eXpCon in 2017 that it was a special company, and that it was about to disrupt everything. And I never saw it coming. I didn't think disruption in real estate would come from disrupting the brokerage model. I always thought it would come from disrupting the relationship between us and the consumer. And, as Gary Keller said it years ago, you're never going to get rid of the real estate agent. He was right about that. We're always going to be a part of the transaction, at least outside of the iBuyers and things of that nature, which, arguably have a decent value proposition without an agent involved. We're going to be here to stay. And, what's the best place to be? I think it's eXp.
Well, I think just watching Gusty go through what he's gone through the past couple of years, watching my other broker friends go through what they've done, and just my own. I had my own office years ago, but it was just my team. It's not nearly the scale that we built with Gusty's, but sustainability becomes an issue. So I am more than happy to pay. It's one of the core values I love with eXp. Like it's no longer about what kind of deal can I get for myself. It's about, first, how can I contribute to a company so that I can receive the benefits for my family long term. And I think that is a paradigm shift. I think that is I think that can only come from people who've experienced this situation before.
Right.
When you know that you're trying to make a lot of other people happy, and really, Gusty, I'm speaking for you right here, and I'm going to get you to chime in. You made this decision first and foremost to take care of everyone.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's where it came from first, because you've seen that you couldn't, as a broker owner, give these kind of benefits to your people today. You wanted to, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I started thinking about it, and everybody wants opportunity, right? Everybody wants to grow. Everybody wants to. There's something about being a broker in this business. I don't know. There's the allure that there's that, I am now broker, and that gets you this like championship belt or something. I don't know. What it gets you is a supply of Advil, because you're going to have a lot of headaches. That's what it gets you. So I quickly, the first thing I learned as a business owner in a brokerage, literally I made a call in the first 45 days of owning Brick and starting Brick. My first phone call, I need a broker. I was like, I don't like negative people. I don't like the problems. That's just not where I thrive. But there's that allure, like, I'm a broker, I'm a manager, and
made it.
I made it. Yeah. So it's the most It is the most thankless and overwhelming position in this market. And it's just, you just got to taste it. You got to be, I guess you got to be a broker just to know how great or bad it is.
Right.
But they're just, well, I can't even go. But, we created a lot of opportunities for other brokerages in our market because we were capped out. We were capped out with brokers. I saw that the broker model just didn't work. Even though we grew in our market, we were number 3 in units sold, number 4 in volume in 3 years. I knew the broker model would not work. I couldn't grow outside of my market. I couldn't grow more offices because it costs so much. So I was helping all my other, broker friends in town and building, their companies because I was tapped out of opportunities. So I counted, I think 6 or 7. We created 6 or 7 brokers at other offices, and then we had other people create, businesses and start their own brokerages, start their own franchises, and I was like, man, you've built this up. Like my thought was, this is my 401k. I'm building this for Trip and Max and my family, and this is my 401k, and I'm going to sell houses no matter what. And this is just one of my revenue streams. But then I realized, oh my gosh, I'm building it for everybody else. And when I saw the model 2.5 years ago, and really dug in, I think you've got to really, you can't just be like, hey, look, you got to check this model out. That doesn't work. You've got to dig in, and you've got to really soak all the information up because the information is really overwhelming.
Yeah.
Once you learn it, it's super easy.
Right.
And so I saw the model 2.5 years ago. My buddy Jeff Willems out in Tucson, who runs the number 1 team out there. We were chit-chatting about it, and he was like, man, I just paid, to get out of my my Remax, real estate franchise to go to this company. I was like, dude, you're crazy. Why in the heck would you do that? And he told me how much he paid, and I was like, okay, dude, you are crazy. Why would you do that? And he's like, no, I'm telling you, it's like a home run. Like, baby, it's a home run. I'm like, all right, cool. And so he reached out to me later on. He's like, man, just take a look at it. I was like, all right, cool. I will. I respect you. You're my bud. I'll take a look. And as soon as I got done with the webinar, I was like, I'm screwed. I'm screwed as a broker owner. I'm screwed running an independent. Thank goodness I'm not in a franchise agreement.
Right.
Because it was just so powerful. So in my opinion, I've just, like every one of my agents, I just made them a broker. Because what can they do? They can attract agents and they can build their own brokerage. It just happens to be inside eXp. And I can help them build their brokerage and or their organization, whatever you want to call it. So when I saw it 2.5 years ago, I was like, okie dokie. But I was growing, I was thriving. I think we had gotten up to in 3 years, 137 agents was where we topped out at. And I was like, man, I'm King Kong, and I can't make a move. I'm on top of the world. I remember meeting with a broker that's like a legend in Birmingham, and he's like, "What are your goals?" And I was like, "To be number 1, of course." And then a month later, the world crashes and people are leaving, and I'm like, God, what a taste of humble pie. Right. And then really since then I've been like, all right, I've got to chill out a little bit and man, just really focus on people and loving on them and all that kind of stuff. And so, my taste for being number 1 really is just I want to be number 1 in people's hearts. I want to take care of people. I really want to help them. I want to take care of my family, Trip and Max, my wife, Katie. I want to take care of my leadership team and their kids and my agents and their kids. And what I see this model doing for my agents is, first off, we're going to help people be able to pay off, pay their car monthly payments. Then it's going to be, hey, we're going to be able to help pay their, housing, their monthly payments on their houses. And then it's going to grow from there. It's going to be hey, we're going to be able to take care of their, their college stuff. And so it's just, the model blows me away. And that's why you just take a minute and take a look at it, because I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have made that move to, if it wasn't in the best interest of agents. So that's my 2 cents.
Right. And Jay, whenever you made the move, tell us what happened. Did you lose people? Was there fear? What?
We were small and we had made a lot of agents very successful in a short period of time. And so we had a lot of trust And we had some pushback. But once we showed them the plan, what we were going to do, and they saw the benefits, there was more benefits there than what we offered. And so I think it was a pretty easy move, but we moved, everyone came over. We didn't lose anybody. They're all still here. So, it was, I think it was, everybody recognized it was the best move. And we some people, probably questioned it a little bit. But I think that, that all in all, we were pretty convincing and that this was the right move before we presented it to them. And they all came with us. So we were fortunate.
Hey, Jay, I got a question, man. So let's talk about culture. There's a lot of things and reasons why, we moved over to eXp, but talk to me about culture, and then I'll share my experience just in like a week.
Right.
But I'd love to hear your experience about culture.
Yeah. So, I'm fortunate to have built a business outside of real estate, 40, 50 employees. Culture was a big deal. It was probably definitely one of my top experiences in life was building NAEA up to the size that it was. Inc. 5,000 fastest growing company 6 years in a row, $10 million company. And so you have to have culture. It's incredible when you nail it. And we had seen it nailed in Infusionsoft. We masterminded with a lot of bigger companies and really tried to understand how they were growing and managing growth. And so seeing that, I've seen all that in other industries. In real estate, it's never been there. Like, even in my dad's company, if he was to try to sell me on his vision for the company, I'm going to be like, yeah, that sounds good, Pops, as long as they don't come out of my commission, right? Like, there's never, it's misalignment at the highest degree. You can say whoever owns whatever real estate company you're at right now, they can sell you on their vision, but if it comes out of your pocket, then you ain't aligned anymore, right? So there's always in real estate, this misalignment of agent and brokerage. And, that was the thing that, we said this years and years ago, all of our buddies, we always say, man, how do we put all our fires together and make one big fire? What would that look like, man? I'd love to work with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to be able to work with some of these people, but nobody's, we could never figure out what that would look like. And so, jumping on board instantly, it was, it's like family. I mean, it really is. It sounds funny, and everybody's probably cliche or whatever. Like, when you nail the financial alignment in a company when you really nail that, and this is interesting. I flew out to Berkshire Hathaway, and Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger were speaking, and somebody was, asking the first question at the shareholder event. The first question they asked was about Wells Fargo. This was a couple of years ago, and Wells Fargo had gotten into some trouble with people creating accounts and a bunch of fake accounts to get these incentives and stuff like that. And they were like, yeah, so what bank are you going to be moving your business to? Da, 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 da. And it was funny to watch because I knew this in principle was one of their their top 25 cognitive biases that they talk about, and it's compensation alignment. And he said, he goes, we're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. So he goes, we're going to get a phone call from one of our companies next week that did something horribly stupid. And he said, it's inherent in this business. It's just going to happen. He said, the first thing I looked to is where was the compensation misaligned? And that was his go-to thought in looking at the business model. I thought that was fascinating. At how that was where he went first. And it was misalignment compensation. The incentives were based upon new accounts and people were making fake accounts. And, that was what drove the misbehavior. And if you make those mistakes, you have those problems. And so now that I'm at eXp and I'm experiencing the behavior of everybody wanting to help each other, everybody sharing their best practices. There's this financial alignment, and not just the revenue share, but in the fact that we all have stock and ownership in this company. We all want to see this company do well, and it's the golden goose. I mean, it's the stock compensation and the revenue share doesn't exist. This opportunity doesn't exist if we don't all win together. And so that's been something that I've never seen nailed like it's been nailed at this company, and it's the best part. It's the best part about working here every day. That's why every day I'm excited every single day for 20. My wife's not here right now, but she'd be like, he's been like this literally every day for 21 months. He would not stop. He is just loves the company, and so. But it's a good vibe you get every single day, knowing that you got more people to help you than you're not on an island by yourself.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I'm 1 weekend. Yesterday I was on a boat fishing. I'm texting with Dave Kennard, and who's the president of eXp, and just giving some, recommendations of what I've experienced over the last week with transition and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, just open to the conversation, which I think is so important. Like, from a leadership standpoint of especially a fast growing brokerage, like, you've got to have leaders that are willing to listen. And I can tell you 100%, we've got leaders that listen at eXp.
Yep.
But I've had people reach out all over the country that have wished me well. I mean, I've added, I don't know, I feel like I'm going to have to get a new profile on Facebook. I've got so many eXp agent friends now. But I mean, it's crazy. But it's like, I was messing around Workplace. I finally got on Workplace a couple of days ago, and we had Workplace at our brokerage. But man, I pulled up like eXp's Workplace, and I was like, oh my God, like, this is nuts. I was just in there just like looking at the conversations, and like people were talking about like marketing, recommendations on how to do this Facebook post and how to do this. And I mean, just like, I was blown away. And then, Sunday night, the email, I didn't even know an email goes out that all the training things Sunday night, and I pull it up, and it was like 54 opportunities for training.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
I knew that there was a bunch, but I didn't know many. I was like, all right, we'll get like a training a day. Cool. Like that.
Right.
We did one training a week, and we had some awesome training at our company, but I get an email Sunday, and it's like 54. Oh my gosh.
Well, our resources are so much better because there's so many. The company lets you lead from wherever it is that you are, wherever you are in your business, and however you want to contribute and give back. It's not a, hey, may I? It is, hey, I want to do this, and the company supports that. I teach in real estate 101 the third Sunday of every night, and I'll have 200 or 300 agents in there, and it's fantastic. And you taught a class this week, Jay, where you had about 200 people in it. Yeah. You were talking about rev share, and everybody's so, like, it's hard to imagine when you already have Workplace, right, Gusty? Right. And you see the conversations that are there. These conversations are just so much different. And we talk about being in the cloud, and everybody thinks, oh my gosh, we're disconnected. We are so connected. Yeah. I mean, just like you were talking to Dave Kennard before you came on, I was asking questions of Glenn Sanford, and he was answering me. Mm-hmm. He actually saw one of my videos about joining eXp and shared it on Facebook. I mean, that's how tuned in he is to who we are as people, as part of as part of the company itself. Yeah. But that's just, I've been here for 9 months, and I'm blown away by that. And I have been with several other brokerages, and one is very independent. Don't talk to me and don't listen to me while I'm on the phone, because you're going to steal everything I have. Right. And there was another one that was, everybody liked to go around and talk about real estate, and nobody actually was selling it. And we have like really the best of both worlds, plus so many more benefits here at eXp.
Yep, no doubt.
For sure.
Eventually, they're all going to be here.
That's right.
One of the things that we've heard is like, we've told people we're gonna keep our offices open, and so we've created this open door policy in partnership with the other eXp agents in our market that have offices, and so immediately we've got 2 offices, one in Birmingham, one in Trussville, and we've got 2 of our other eXp partners that have offices in Hoover. And so, said, hey, open door policy. So we immediately moved. We've got 4 offices now in Birmingham. And that doesn't even talk about the co-working space with our Regis agreement. So, in essence, we went from 2 offices to 9 offices in Birmingham, like overnight.
Right.
And so there's been a lot of myths that I'm closing these offices. But, man, I believe in eXp so much. Like, I am all in, like 110%. Like, every question I've received in the last week since this transition, like reasons why people are leaving, there's just a lot of misinformation that's out there. Every time somebody's come to me with a question or a reason why they're leaving, I've proved them that is inaccurate information. And I hate it, but now we just have to prove that we made the right decision. And, all of my folks, man, I poured a lot of information, a lot of love to these people. And I truly, I want them to make the best decision and the right decision. And I know that having to make a decision for a real estate change when you weren't expecting that is tough. And so, I think that people are just going to have to take a little taste of something else, and we're just going to prove that, we made the right decision, and we're definitely going to welcome, some of our agents that decided not to continue with us. We will welcome them with open arms later on when they're ready, because there's going to be that time that, they're going to see all the progress that we're doing. We've created that strategic plan for Birmingham. That strategic plan is 25% market share by 2025. And, people think that's crazy, like, right? 25% market share, like, that's crazy. I don't think it is. The number one company in our market has 16%. If you combine a bunch of different franchises of another one, I think they're at like 19%. 25% market share, it's not out of the question. So what I'm looking for, what Genny and I are looking for, are people that are risk takers, people that are, influencers, people that are looking for a ground floor foundation opportunity to grow what I think is going to be the number one real estate brokerage in the world. Okay. I think that we, again, by 2025, will be the number one real estate brokerage in Birmingham, like, no doubt. Right. So, this is the strategic plan. I hope people are willing to support that strategic plan. I think if they really just took 45 minutes, an hour, and dove in with an open mind and open ears and open heart, and really take a look at this thing, that they would give it an option. And we just want to be the first option when somebody's ready for a change. That's all I'm asking for. I just want that opportunity that I can spread this model and spread, like, this is a blessing to my family. I want to be a blessing to other people's family. And when people are ready for that change and ready for that opportunity, I want to be able to give that to them. So those are the people I'm looking for.
Yep.
Well, and we have those people calling constantly. I've been in meetings already all week, and it's just Tuesday? Yeah. And just the caliber of people that they just know, and they sell a lot of real estate. And so just the combination of just a few of those people joining 25 by 25 is nothing. But Jay, okay, so everybody says, what in the world? Gusty is crazy for doing this. Oh my God, he's insane, right? He built this company, and that's just the feedback. Like, what is he thinking? Right. What is he doing? So I'm sure you probably got a little bit of that.
Oh yeah. Sure. Absolutely.
And you talk to agents all day long, pretty much every day. What kind of success stories have you seen? Like, what
over and over and over again. The fact that we get to help agents now and they don't have to get their credit card out, which is is something that was never even conceivable before.
Right.
We've had agents come over and in the first 6 months being at eXp double their business from the previous year. We've had, we've got one guy that, that came over and really wasn't excited about revenue share, and he's making about $8,000 a month in revenue share. And like every time I talk to him, I tear up, he tears up. I mean, it changed his life. I mean, and, he was an average producer, but, he brought a handful of people on, and they brought some people on, and he decided to really focus on that. And that's been a life-changing event for him. So, and it took like, 3 or 4 conversations of me, like telling him, listen, man, I got your back, this move's going to be good for you. So those are the stories that really are there's a lot of people making a whole lot of money, in the revenue share opportunity that are really focused on it, that are influencers. Mike Reese is in Houston right now, talking with 1,000 agent brokerage.
That's awesome.
They're just everybody's coming. And the reason is because it's a better financial structure, and it's a better alignment with, better opportunities for growth and an exit strategy. And none of those things, if you're truly honest with yourself. Now, first of all, I'll say it's financially irresponsible for you not to get 100% clear on the business model and why it is different than anything else. And then, get real with yourself. Are you on track for your financial goals? If we hit another downturn, is it going to, set you back another 10 years like it did for me in like 2007 and 8? Be real about, where you're at, and if you're in the best place to accomplish your personal your personal goals and wealth, building strategy. So, if you do that, and you have an open mind and you take that ego and you put it over here, because it took, it takes that. You have to put your ego aside and say, somebody built something better. This is going to be better for me. It's going to be better for my family. It's going to be better for everybody that I come in contact with. It's once if you look at it through that lens, then it's really hard for you not to see it. But you got to be willing to not try to make it something that it's not, and try to be careful who you're talking to and whose advice you're listening to.
Sure.
I think that's been something that that misinformation. I get it all the time. I mean, this is completely false information. Well, isn't it a penny stock? Somebody said that the other day. It's like,
right.
Have you seen the trading volume on this company and the valuation? When we're trading on NASDAQ, you don't accidentally get on NASDAQ. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's and we're just scratching the surface as a company. 20,000 agents. We're just now opening in other countries. I mean, we are like at the very, very beginning. It's like, you're not too late. You might be too early. Like, this is the beginning of this company. Like, you got to be kidding me. Like, the things that people say, and like, they just never really took the time to look at it. And they just, making false statements, and it's like, that's not true. It's just not. So, anyways, yeah.
Actually, I got a question based on that. Like, do you have a good story of somebody that maybe have kicked themselves for not jumping on early, but they have eventually came on? Do you have a good story about that?
Yeah, we had a guy that early on. So keep in mind now, the reason this is so disruptive, if you think about this, in 2009, when Glenn said, I'm creating a cloud-based office, we weren't getting Amazon packages to our house. We weren't going on Netflix and streaming, and we weren't ordering an Uber, right? 2009, that was back when the cloud was not even, like, we weren't even clear on what the cloud was. And I think for the first, 8 years, this company didn't grow more than 500-600 agents. It didn't really take off. And understandably so, most people didn't realize the power of the cloud. The reason the cloud is disruptive, and the reason it's better, is because you have a brick and mortar office. Can you do more training in the cloud or more training in the office? As you illustrated earlier, Gus, that's the thing, right? Like, there's no question that you can do more training in the cloud. 53 this week. Can't do that in my office. Couldn't do that in your office, right? So that, that's truth, right? And then so, okay, well, what about support? So, that's the other reason we hang around a brokerage. They provide great support. Can you get more support in the cloud? Absolutely. They got multiple departments of support that they can do. Because why? Because it's all in the cloud. It's the only way that they communicate. So, like, once you understand that that's why this is disruptive, is because it actually is better for the agent. Then it starts to make sense. Okay, well now that makes sense why all these agents are moving over to eXp. And as far as but in the very beginning, they were offering, in some cases, 1 million shares to move over to eXp to some of the bigger companies. And I've had 2 people that came to me, and they're literally sick to their stomachs.
They should be.
There's 1 million shares of stock in eXp in the very early days. If they'd have came over, and they would have been set for life. I mean,
no kidding.
Trading at around $10 right now. So do the math. You know what I'm saying? I had 2 people. They came up. They still came over. They didn't say, "Oh, I missed my opportunity." Oh, they said, "Man, I'm an idiot. I wish I'd have done this sooner." But everybody says that, because I looked at it for a year, right? Like, you looked at it for 2.5 years, Gusty. That's the reason that it takes us so long, is timing sometimes isn't just right.
Right.
And then the timing gets right and we come. Or we didn't see it, really truly see it, which was partially my case too. But that's, there's some people that left a lot of money on the table that came over that, there's nobody that comes over and says, "Man, I came over. I wish I would have waited." There's nobody. I've never had that conversation.
Right.
So that's the one thing I've never had.
The best part about us, Jay, is that there are only 200 of us here.
Y'all are so early
in Alabama, right? And so, me, I haven't sold a house in 10 years, and just got back in January, and I'll be at 7 million at the end of this week.
Oh.
And I'm 8 contracts away from Icon, and that's all I'm totally focused on, because what company gives you their cap back in stock, right?
Crazy.
So I'm like, if I'm joining this, I want every single benefit that this company has to offer. Otherwise, why be here?
Yep.
You can go anywhere.
Yep.
I want to take advantage of everything that eXp has to offer. But not one person, with only 200 of us in Alabama, has asked me what company I'm with.
No.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
They just want to know that you are going to provide the best customer service experience, and are going to get that home sold, or going to present them and negotiate for them the best. So it doesn't matter where you're at. I promise you. Like,
Right.
I mean, we were able to create a brand that nobody had ever heard of and became top 3 in 3 years in our market. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
So, one thing that you said earlier, Jenny, you talking about you're focused on icon.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting potential bonuses for that. What other company that's out there? I mean, you're going to be selling real estate. I put a house under contract last night while at the beach. I'm at the beach right now. I put a house under contract last night. It was one of my cousins, so all my folks know that they're going to get a good laugh when I say it was another one of my cousins, because I've got a bunch of cousins, evidently, and so what other company that's out there that for business as usual, I'm going to be closing houses, that you have the opportunity to get perks like stock awards and options and revenue share. And we're not going to talk about revenue share versus profit share today, but anybody that's a business owner that is talking about, what is, profit share compared to revenue share, the business owners know absolutely what that difference is. So we'll get into that discussion a little bit later on, but I will tell you, there is it's business as usual. I'm selling houses, team selling houses like crazy. We just actually got some bonuses, and we've got some, opportunities and perks that are not out there. So, I invite you to kind of learn a little bit. And even our competitors, I want our competitors to absolutely know what this platform is, so that they can, be able to share accurate information and not misinform anybody that they're talking to. Because guess what? The team leaders and the broker owners are going to get the conversations about, what do you think about eXp? Well, you need to do yourself a favor and look into it and create whatever story that you think that you want to have about eXp. But I just want you to share the truth. As long as you share the truth, I'm totally cool with it. I want to open this thing up where you understand the model absolutely and share accurate information to your agents. And as long as you're providing that information accurately, that's all I care about.
Yep.
Well, it makes you look foolish.
This is agent attraction. This is not recruitment. This is agent attraction. We're not going to be calling folks saying, "Hey, would you come to eXp?" No, because everybody's going to be contacting us because actually the opportunities and training and support, everything that we're going to be able to provide for folks, they're going to be calling us. They're already calling us. So, do you
one outbound call in 21 months? Not one.
I haven't either.
So do yourself a favor and just learn the model, and then, protect your agents as best as you can.
Well, it makes you look foolish if you don't know what you're talking about. And when people do figure it out, it makes the agent feel like you're lying to them. So, and Jay, what you're saying too, one of the reasons that kind of kept me stalled a little bit from joining, maybe another hour or so, was because in the past, I have been a diehard recruiter, and I've been known as that. And I've had different approaches than I think some of the people that are doing that today. But I didn't want to have that reputation, or that I don't want people running from me. I mean, my whole passion is to give and let people thrive and figure out ways to help them. I don't want people running from it. So that was one of the things that, oh gosh, I don't even want to focus on rev share. I'm just not even going to have anything to do with that. I just want to be a part of training and in the platform, in the world. And I just want to hit that icon status. That's what I want more than anything. And if I can help give back that way. And I have not made, because of that, I've not made one call either. And everybody is calling me now. I will call you back. If you ask me for a meeting, I'm going to call you back. And that's what I've done. There's only been one person, and I told her that, look, I talk to you 4 or 5 times a day. I'm constantly helping you in your business. I love you more than anything, child. You need to be with us. And that is the only person necessarily, that's as aggressive as I've gotten. And yeah, right. And I want to say that you don't have to be. You don't have to be a diehard, repulsive recruiter, and because it is about attraction, and people will call you. People call you all the time, and I know you've got systems to set that up. And Zach has some systems that set me up, and a few people have called from that, but mostly it's people that I've known. Now,
Right.
what I want to say is my dad is in his 70s and he's still selling houses. And every time we talk, he tells me what's on the board and what he is about to close. And I love him. I want him to be able to retire. And now he likes it. But this is something that gets me emotional. Of all the agents that in the recession that I paid their house notes, I paid their car notes because they didn't have it saved up. And we're going to have that market that comes back to us, and you can see how much I love these people. They can't retire. I've got friends now that just can't. They have to go out and sell another house. And this is a huge reason to join, because it sets you up because of the people that are going to call you, because of the reputation that you've earned. And one sweet girl that has joined us, she said, gosh, I can't wait to get 3 more people in eXp doing well, because then I'll be able to participate in rev share. And she didn't realize that you do get paid before you have 5 people. And I said, go check your enterprise. And she called me crying. It was $700. And she is like, I had no idea. And her husband works 3 jobs and they have 2 little ones at home. If you don't think that's life-changing, I mean, that's what this company has been for me. And just hearing her get that phone, having her call me and say that, that's what I want for every single person that I come in contact with. So
Love it.
Yeah. I don't know how much time we've got today, Jenny. So what's
we've got about 3 more minutes.
All right. So, what, Jay, is there anything that you want to add that we've kind of, maybe not hit on yet?
No, man, I think, I think we've touched on everything. I think, the thing that I would say most people that move to eXp average about at least consuming 4 to 10 videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, do the research, you know what I'm saying? Do the research and ask questions and then decide for yourself. That's what you have to do. That would be the advice I would give you.
Cool.
I want to add real quick, Gusty.
What's that?
I'm sorry, I want to add real quick. We're growing so fast that I said 200 agents in Alabama. Brent just told me we have 253.
Yeah.
That's probably partly because of us. So, all right. So, Jay, we're going to be talking to get you to Birmingham. So I know we've got some mutual friends in town. We're going to have a ball. We're going to do a workout. And so, so we're going to make Birmingham happen for you. I know you've been here once before. It's been a while, but we're going to truly show you that Southern hospitality.
Love it. Looking forward to it.
Yep. So
give me into that Roll Tide stuff.
Roll Tide, roll, baby.
Boomer sooner.
And you know what? We're not even in your organization, and that's the kind of heart you had to welcome us here. So thank you so much for being here today.
Privilege to be in business with you guys.
Absolutely, man. Looking forward to it, my brother.
Yep. Y'all have a great day. Enjoy that.
Will do. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much for you taking your time to join us today and listen to this interview about building a big business, right, with teams and just high achievers and what that transition looks like with eXp. If you want any additional information, just reach out to any one of us, and you can message us on Facebook, and we are crazy to respond because we love this company and we love agents. So have a great day. And make it productive.
Right. Thanks, Jenny.